get another hell go mash up people start and people them sell it on me. On the chili market man, it on me. On them a treat the cat man, it on me. On the chili peanut man, it on me. On them a treat the dirt man, it on me. On them a treat the sun man, it on me. On them a treat police man, it on me. On them a treat soldier man.
Boom! I mean, I say a couple to the flex they represent for Wayne Global TV. So I say, you know the code in the Wayne Global TV is what fully blessed on 90 days. So I say, yeah man, to the fullest. Yeah man, make sure them log in to Wayne Global TV. So I say, check it out. So I say, one cup of flex. So I say, Wayne Global. When you watch now, see them a plan up and a try to put them on the pan we head. But man, I live too long, them want Wayne Global fitted. To him juggle so smooth that them want him life for dread. I throw the bank, I like the break, but we ain't all about the bed. We open up the ears and no listen when we said, cause we lyrics them so smooth like the linen on the bed. Them one with a fall, travel living on the edge, I must say true, make this them. We ain't Global TV, we are 90, and 90. Who Jaja bless, no man can curse. Give it the Range Rover, uno drive years. Boom! We in Global TV to the fullest one cup of excellence. See me?
Good morning, and welcome to your At a Glance program. Good morning, good afternoon. If you are on Greenwich Main Time, good afternoon. If you are on Standard Eastern Time, good morning to you all, and welcome to Global Television. In the last week, 1,000 of you have joined the platform. To my new subscribers, thank you all very much. You have taken us to 11K subscribers and growing. Thank you all very much for coming on board. Thank you all for your support, and I hope to continue to serve you all with the information and the happenings within our country. So welcome on board to those 1K subscribers who have joined us in the last week and in the over the last 3 months. Almost 4,000 of you have joined the platform. Welcome. Thank you very much for being a part of the Global TV experience. Good morning to those on the X, to those on Twitch, on YouTube, and on Facebook. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Global Television. Thank you all for joining us. The global election, the local election saga continues, but we will get into that. Good morning to those on the live and to those in the chat. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Natalia Freeman, good morning. P. Richards, BCA Smith, good morning, and welcome. Sunshine, good morning. Real Sweet, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Lennox Reed, good morning. And welcome. Good morning. VM Raymond, good morning. Annie Jones, good morning. Good afternoon, and welcome to you all. Wayne Evans, good morning, good afternoon. Good afternoon to Cousin Myrna, to Cousin Jamie, Sister Faith, Brother Karen, Brother Roger. Good morning, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Errol Clark. Good morning, good afternoon. Like and share the live, please. Like and share the live. Thank you very much. That's the support we're asking for. Once you become a subscriber, the next type of support we are asking, as well as viewing, is to like and share our lives so the algorithm can also like and share the live, which keeps and help our platform to grow. Always observing. How are you? Debbie Jervis, good morning. Beat and Teach, Good morning, Nerissa. Nerissa, good morning. How are you? Good morning. Good morning to Sim Sim, Cousin Jamie, all of my moderators. Good morning. Good morning to Veteran. Good morning to Jamaican Carlos. Sasha Lewis, good morning. Good morning to DI Easy Jerk World. Good morning. Good morning to Anthony R. Good morning, all of you, and welcome. Welcome to this, your Tuesday morning. Let us see what is going on. But the local government election, Michelle Clark, good morning, good afternoon, is making its way into magisterial recount, one of the division in Westmoreland is going up for magisterial recount. That's the Cornwall Mountain Division. However, we look at that a bit further. Georgia Dennis, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome. But just out of curiosity, has anyone seen Nestor Morgan? It's important that we inquire because we are paying him and we're not paying people to stay home. But before I get on to Nestor Morgan, I want to catch up on something with Mr. Golden. Because we want to know if Dennis Meadows, a bad man in the PMP, or Dennis Meadows just talk the things them when feel like talk. Let me see if I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. I just want to get that end bit 1 sec.
But I'm going nowhere. Right. Appointed, but I'm not bitter. Yes. I remain the chairman of this constituency. Wow. I remain on the ground.
That them Mr. Golden. I remain the chairman of this constituency. I remain the chairman of this constituency. We, Mr. Golden, cannot depend on Mr. Meadows to clear that up, because if Mr. Meadows opened his mouth, I can guarantee you he's going to create more mess. So for the credibility of the party, Mr. Golden, Millie McBean, good morning. For the credibility of the party, given that this thing is unfolding and ongoing, we know that you remove Dennis Meadows as the caretaker candidate for the next general election. JamaicanTV.com, good morning. It is important, Mr. Golden, to clarify another of Dennis Meadows' utterances. He still remains the chair for the People's National Party in the North Trelawney division. Is that the case, Mr. Golden? And if it is the case, why so? He said he's going nowhere. That's kind of difficult, Yvonne Green, for Mr. Golden to clear up, because we don't know what Dennis Meadows mean by that. But as it's to do with the chairman, Mark Golden should clear that up with the public. I wouldn't trust what is coming out of Dennis Meadows' mouth. So I think Mr. Golden should clarify that in public, not allowing it to run on in public for a while. Draw a lid or clamp a lid or whatever over this whole Meadows issue. Because if Dennis Meadows care about the People's National Party, and if Dennis Meadows is a true comrade and not a political opportunist and a social climber, and swings wherever he thinks he'll be able to get the votes, then Dennis Meadows would go peacefully and allow the People's National Party to bask in the glory of their momentum. Dennis Meadows says he's not bitter. Does Dennis Meadows, in his interviews, sound like a person who isn't bitter, who is going around making allegations that Dennis Meadows never spoke about on the election campaign? So I think Mr. Golden needs to make clear. Audrey Robson, Stacy, good morning and welcome. Sharon Powell, good morning and welcome. Make clear these blunderous statements from Dennis Meadows, because it doesn't look good for the party credibility, where Dennis Meadows with a microphone in his hand, staring in a camera, telling you that I am still in control. Who has the power here? Who is leading in the party? Who is in charge? Michelle Lewis Wilson. Who is in charge? It's Dennis Meadows. Is Dennis Meadows still the chairman for the North Trelawney constituency? And if he is Mr. Golden, what does that mean for the caretakership of the constituency? What does that also mean for a replacement candidate for the constituency? How soon, Mr. Golden, will you go to Trelawney and speak to the people and see who else they want representing them other than Dennis Meadows? The country shouldn't be strong-armed with Dennis Meadows. Dennis Meadows wasn't the only one of us, Joan Brown, who went to university. Dennis Meadows isn't the brightest of all of us. There's several of us, Mr. Golden, who are as bright as Dennis Meadows, if not brighter. I could be one of them, Mr. Golden. And I'm sure you will find many across the North Trelawney constituency. Don't go pick up one of your other barbaritas. Godchild, good morning and welcome. And enforce upon them. Look at the viable underground candidate. A candidate that knows the constituency, knows the people, understand the people, rapport with the people. But you cannot have Dennis Meadows going around like me the bad man in the party. So no matter what you hear, then say, out there, pan camera, me still in charge. It doesn't sound well. A line need to be drawn under Dennis Meadows. Mama Lashy by team bullet and gone. Mama Lashy by team bullet and gone. What is it about Dennis Meadows and North Trelawney constituency? He contested it many times as a JLP candidate and never make it. It is time for Dennis Meadows to find something else to do and take his mind off the North Trelawney division. What kind of milk and honey that North Trelawney, Mr. Meadows?
Move. And they are commending. What it suggests that the People's National Party is a party of integrity and principles.
Right.
If I had said the same thing on the other side we are coming from, I would have gotten away with it. You hear me? So, current leader acted the right way.
Right.
I'm disappointed, but I'm not bitter.
Yes.
I remain the chairman of this constituency.
Wow.
I remain on the ground. And who knows what come out of that. I say no more of that. But I'm going nowhere. So any labor who thinks that little video can get rid of me, I remain here. I'm going to remain here and work hard until the...
And another thing, Mr. Meadows, why are you acting like your blunder? Your blunder on the election campaign, Kirk Edwards. Les, why are you acting like your blunder have anything to do with the Jamaica Labour Party? Are you saying they were the one who forced you to say it, capture the video and put it out there? Or Mr. Meadows was aware, drunkenly or otherwise, even though not a defense, Carleen Jones. Drunkenly or otherwise, Mr. Meadows, you took the mic, you look into the camera, and you said those things. Why does it seem like you're attributing your demise to the Tova Hamilton and the JLP clan, Mr. Meadows? Is Mr. Meadows a narcissist? Because narcissists tend to look for people to take responsibility for their own doing. And if Dennis Meadows is saying he's not bitter, why, since all this happened, Dennis Meadows has been in public making allegations? Some could call it baseless allegations. Abina, good morning. Baseless allegations, because Dennis Meadows, I wonder if Dennis Meadows would take a picture of any of those checks that came to him or any of those checks that Mr. Meadows is aware of. But you don't sound like you're not bitter, Mr. Meadows. Or if you're not bitter, you're angry to the point where you feel that you should lash out. But shouldn't you be lashing out on your own stupidity, Mr. Meadows? Or somebody force you? Somebody force you, Mr. Meadows, to join ballerina with scammers. To the point, Mr. Meadows, where you feel so emboldened. Pick up on camera on a political campaign advising scammers. And now you are going to go on like somebody set you up or somebody. No, Mr. Meadows. Cut the crap and move on. Cut the crap, Mr. Meadows, and move on. But have anyone seen Nestor? Because it is important. You're Minister of Information. You paid him to do a job. But listening to Nestor, one could imagine why Nestor would have lost. Or if you listen to Mr. Morris, what Mr. Morris put out in the Gleaner after he crossed the floor, it's more like Nestor was described as a bully, a despot, a dictator, and all of that. Would Mr. Morgan, the type of person, would Mr. Morgan, Valerie Dennis, good morning, would Mr. Morgan be the type of person that will be able to identify Mr. Morgan, identify talent, and not only that, Mr. Morgan, but would you be the type of person to identify and nurture talent, and how that, Mr. Morgan, could transform itself into votes, regardless whichever side of the fence politically one decide to be on. Working for your community, Althea. Serving your community, Mr. Morgan. Identifying talent, Mr. Morgan. But we have a Mr. Morgan who, if we are to explain him in mathematics, he is -1 division plus 1 lawsuit. That's the workout for Mr. Morgan. -1 division plus Mr. Morgan, 1 lawsuit. -1 division plus 1 lawsuit. I wonder how Mr. Morgan is feeling in a year when the general election rumble and debate will start from now. Will Mr. Morgan be able to work back that missing division? And will Mr. Morgan settle the lawsuit in order to avoid the public embarrassment and debacle? But look at one of the reasons why it could be that Mr. Morgan was defeated by his junior.
Big boss himself.
Yeah, man.
You got to respect who you do for Mr. There's a machine original things. They might think I'm a producer now. You see me? Right now, feature, so they look.
And that machine, so you use to make this?
Yeah, man, machine, man. You see me?
You make this?
Yes, man. So they don't
See you on, sir. Go on the place to get you. Go this up. Listen, man. You make this right here, that's our mock-up.
Yes,
people look on this. Good quality. How much for this?
I'm the one that will find you.
How much for this?
I'm cool, yeah.
How much for that one then?
Same two, and I don't want to have a cheese.
Right, that's our Mount Providence, right in our Moko division. We want a sewing machine, and use this sewing machine, and I make money off our sewing machine. But people, more you support it, right? More you support it. Tell the people them, Mr. Richard, your number, because people might want to call you or WhatsApp you in order to get them in the store or something.
Yeah, man, if you want to link up me, you can come contact 344-2438. I mean, Instagram page, push on underscore, boss underscore. You can link up, see me if you don't want to do this. And push on to see you. So you can link up, so you see me?
Yeah, man, and if you don't hear the number, I put the number in the caption. Alright? So see the product? Nice clean. And a good you. Me just give me sewing machine, me yes.
That's how talent, Mr. Morgan. Rosemary Samuels, good morning. Say Annie Jones, I say a +2 lawsuit. That's how, Mr. Morgan, talent is not only identified, but also nurtured. And by way, Mr. Morgan, one could take their voters. One could take their voters along with them, Mr. Morgan, whichever side of the political fence. Whichever side of the political fence they decide to go, Mr. Morgan. A good politician, a politician that respects the people's vote, a politician, Mr. Morgan, that works for the people, call us in. A politician, Mr. Morgan, that works for the people. A politician, Mr. Morgan, that respect the votes of the voters. Patricia Matthews, how are you? Good morning and welcome. A politician, Mr. Morgan, who is able to identify talent, but not only that, Mr. Morgan, nurture talent. These are successful politicians. And it doesn't matter which side of the political fence they go, Mr. Morgan. Their people go with them because their people know that they will work for them. They have political integrity. They're not going to become dictatorous, boisterous, and ill manners after receiving power. minus 1 division plus 2 lawsuits. How do you look going into a general election? Will Mr. Morgan be able to make any more boastful speech as this one?
The persons who you find Maypen today are comrades from Woodall, comrades from Moko, and several other places. They could not mobilize enough people from Moko. What it says to you is that the people of Moko do not believe in Romain Morris. Romain Morris has crossed the floor, which is his right. But I will say to you as Member of Parliament, he will never win Moko Division as long as I'm a Member of Parliament, and I put that down.
Rub salt in your fresh wound. Rub salt, Mr. Morgan, in your fresh wound. I wonder if you'll ever have the nerve to come in public and speak like that again, Mr. Morgan. I wonder if you'll ever have the nerve to come in public and open your mouth like you control Jamaica and you control our parliament and you control our voters. How did some of these people get there? But let's turn our attention over to we're going. Hold on, I'm going to Jamaica Gleaner quickly there and see if I can share that article with you. No, I don't want Mark Wignall. I tell Holness to him hand fizzle out. I have that cue already. But I want to let me get into the see if I find the headline. PMP file injunction. Yes, see it there. Let me share my screen, please. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen and go to that article so you all can mumble through the article with me. There's also an article written by Mark Wignall. I think this was written on Sunday, I believe. Addressing the local government election, also speaking to the dismissal of Dennis Meadows, rather, and Everall Warmington. Bear with me, please. I don't know what happens to my computer in morning time, then go slow. In an even time, I generally don't have that problem. So, I don't know. Right, hold on. Right, let's look at this article. PMP files injunction to prevent swearing in of JLP councillor elected in the Cornwall Mountain Division pending outcome of magisterial recount. I'm sure you can see it. Hold on. Extend my screen a bit. I think that's better. Yes. So I'm going to take my time, mumble my way through this. Precious Allen. Good morning, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. So let's mumble our way through this article. That was an article written yesterday evening. PMP filed injunction to prevent swearing in of JLP councillor elect in the Cornwall Mountain Division pending outcome of magisterial recount. This is the PNP pretty face. The JLP pretty face was somewhere in this article too. Hold on. And there you go, the JLP pretty face for that division. So pretty face 1 and pretty face 2 going for a magisterial recount. Colin Stewart, Shaman Flowers, good morning, and welcome. Sharon Robinson, good morning and welcome. Right, let me turn my attention back to the article so I won't know what's going on in the chat. Lawyers representing Abigail McCallum, the People's National Party candidate for the Cornwall Mountain Division in Westmoreland, say her Jamaica Labour Party counterpart, Donette Foster, has been evasive in their effort to serve her injunction documents. On Friday, McCallum applied for an injunction through her attorney, Maurice McCurdy, and senior counsel Clayton Morgan, seeking to bar Foster from being sworn in as the counselor. Hold on. They are demanding a magisterial recount in the division after the Electoral College, after the Electoral Office of Jamaica declare Foster the winner following the local government election on February 26th in a slim margin of 27 votes. Foster polled 1,497 votes to McCallum 1,470. We applied for a magisterial recount in the Cornwall division in Westmoreland on Friday, and we applied for an injunction to prevent the swearing in of the candidate for the JLP, Miss Donette Foster. But she has been very evasive. That means that she avoid them. She do everything she possibly can to avoid them, as the bailiff is not able to locate her. McCurdy told the Gleaner. Right, go on. We are also trying to serve the election petition on her as well. Miss Foster has been evading service. According to McCurdy, the hearing of the injunction seeks to prevent Foster from being sworn in is set for tomorrow, March 5th, which would be today, in the Westmoreland Parish Court, while the magisterial recount is set to commence on Wednesday, that is tomorrow. The Gleaner understands that the councillor-elect are scheduled to be sworn in on Thursday. So across the country on Thursday, all the councillors that are elected are scheduled to be sworn in this Thursday. Following the official count by the EOJ, the People's National Party won 11 of the 14 divisions in Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, while the People's National Party won 3. So that I'm going to keep my eyes on today to see, not today, over the next few days, to see if 1, the injunction has been served, and 2, what the outcome will be for the magisterial recount. But yes, this article, yes, this was written for the Sunday Gleaner. I was meant to read this from yesterday, but Show me their chat about the other bang around them. So I'm going to try to fumble my way through what Mark Wignall is saying. Good Jamaican Carlos, how you do, how you do? What going wrong? I'm going to try fumble my way here through this article because Mark Wignall dealt with the general election. I don't agree with everything he says. I think I agree with a lot of what he says, but really not everything. But he dealt with the local government election. He dealt with the dismissal of Green Pig and Orange Pig also. So if you can, pull it up on your screen and try read along as well. Because I know me a Labour politician brought together, chances are we may dunce like them. Right. Jamaica Labour Party Andrew Holness arrived at the party in Belmont Road in New Kingston headquarters. So this picture was the night when he arrived at Belmont Road after losing the election, cutting the live from PBCJ, and then went to Belmont Road to have an interview, to have a press an Instagram press conference. No JIS, no PBCJ, which those are government taxpayers' mouthpiece. You, the taxpayer, pay for the upkeep of JIS and PBCJ. They are the public broadcasting service and the public information service for Jamaica. You pay for them. But the Prime Minister didn't see a need to come and speak to you on those two taxpayers' forum. The Prime Minister went and speak to his Labourite Instagram audience. The Prime Minister went to Belmont Road and he spoke to his Labourite Instagram audience, not addressing the country as what would be expected. With two polls indicating that the Jamaica Labour Party would have piped the People's National Party, and yet both indicated that it would happen within a safe space of a sample margin of error, favoring the party which limped in a most unimpressive manner is somewhat rare. So my understanding of this paragraph is saying the polls were indicating that the Jamaica Labour Party is going to pipe the People's National Party at the election. And given that the People's National Party limped their way into the election, he would be saying here they would have come out good based on what the polls were saying and the momentum around them. Some explanation. One poll indicate that the Jamaica Labour Party would win by a whisker, but via the sample of margin of error, it could go either way to the JLP or the PNP is understood. The likely result would be either the JLP, the PNP, or a theoretical tie. But the PNP walks out in front in actuality. He's saying, though, even though the senior speaker act and speak like senior director of election, leave us in a situation of a theoretical tie. But Mark Wignall is saying here, the PNP come out with a stronger shoulder. The PNP don't have nothing to be depressed, isolated, and hiding about. Nestor Morgan is what Mr. Wignall is saying to you. That too is quite understandable, he said. Hold on. In the other poll, if the other poll is showing the same picture and the actual result again favors the People's National Party, that mathematical bit of rarity enters the picture. In both instances, the sample margin of error in the result favors the People's National Party. The People's National Party, under the leadership of Mark Golden, has been campaigning for the last 2 years. About 6 weeks ago, the plan by the Jamaica Labour Party was to unleash the magic of wholeness on the electorate in the last 2 weeks of the election campaign. The political gurus in the party somewhat had read that the PM was still very much in possession of the magic that handed him Jamaica electorates on a platter. What Mr. Wignall is speaking here about, the magic hand he used in 2020, the magic hand when he had that rating, when people are saying Andrew Holness is Jamaica's best prime minister since Michael Manley. Oh yes, those things were being said. And Holness said, catch on. Even the PMP, them are going to swing my way now from them hear the word Michael Manley. And your Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, in the middle of a pandemic, went straight into a general election. But that same Prime Minister 3 times denied you the right to a local government election, citing COVID and the pandemic and lockdown for about 2 of them, when it was politically expedient and beneficial to the Prime Minister to have a general election in the middle of a pandemic and lockdown. And only never see when the dictatorship starts. That reading needed some solid input from my old friend, Mutra Man, a well-known Obia man from Yalas who operated in the mid-80s. One of the long-standing political veteran in the Jamaica Labour Party said to me, as quite an impressive number from the slow-spoke electoral office of Jamaica. Slow-spoke, Mark Wignall is saying that man you do everything, so he walk, so talk, so count, so you might as well just call him senile, Mark Wignall. One of the long-standing political veterans in the Jamaica Labour Party said to me, a quite unimpressive number from the slow-spoke electoral college of Jamaica were coming in for the JLP on the evening of the 26th of February. It's time for a reset. Hard to say it, but it is true. We are going to do too much good governance and not enough politics. The people hear of the growth of the economy, but it is not reaching them. Remember, wholeness them I go write a book to put that in perspective. So I hope when you sit down, I queue up out of the bookstore them to make sure when you grab one of the Prime Minister book off the shelf, because I'm sure you all will want to understand how putting failure into context works. Which begs the question, what is good governance? Certainly, it must be all about keeping the roof of the house intact, the door and windows secure, while the kitchen cupboard is fairly well stacked. Is that good governance? He's asking. More than a few PNP administrations in the past have concentrated on keeping the kitchen cupboard fairly stocked, while the roof has been prone to leak and rats living in the rafter. What is that magic balancing socioeconomic state that leads to the most viable existence of the majority of the people? In the late 1980s, when Eddie Seaga JLP administration was turning the economy around, was turning around the economy, which had been battered by manly experimentation of the 1970s. This is where I would tend to disagree with Mark Wignall, because Michael Manley's so-called experimentation of the 70s, a lot of those policies are hailed as the good policies of today. They are the type of rights that Michael Manley didn't only just focus on the economy, but he was focusing on developing the economy around the people, developing the socio-economy, the housing standard, and all of those things. So it wasn't an experiment. It was, for me, in my view, a lot of much needed policy coming out of colonization and lack of education and all that. Manley had to invent a lot of spoon-fed program at the time in order to bring the people up to scratch. That is my view of what he referred to as the Manley experimentation. The country was recording impressive level of growth even as development eluded us. The people voted out Seaga because the growth level were floating over the head of the people. So in that, to me now, he's saying, just like Andrew come now and talk about how the economy has grown well and how the economy has grown and all of that, it's just the same. It's blowing over the people's head because you're just saying it and it's not trickling down to them. The top-down economy, Prime Minister, the people aren't feeling it. And that is one effect of the wobbling battery you got at the poll as well. The people voted out Seaga because the growth level were floating over the head of the people. It is a fact that Jamaica has recorded fiscal pulse that were once foreign to us. Fiscal pulse that were once foreign to us. Certainly, we cannot afford to hitch a reverse gear on that while creating a micro economy that fuels the stocking of the kitchen cupboard. That was Mark Wignall on the local government election. Then he turns his attention to Warmington. Mr. Warmington, thanks for your absence. I am the Minister of Works. I am a member of Parliament. No PMP councillor going to spend my money, quote unquote. It is not surprising that some politicians lose their mind at election time. With Mr. Warmington, a highly successful political contestant in South St. Catherine, he tends to froth and foam more than most. He has always believed that he's the boss he's the boss, that he is bosses, that he bosses his constituents. And over many years, he has been able to convince them that they ought to be comfortable with his bullying ways. The usual release have been issued. He met with the Prime Minister. They spoke with each other. He then resigned. In real talk, that means he was fired. If you have not researched, if you have not researched it, Warmington has a CD, would have taken note of that. You cannot just dash out and dash away a man with national honors. He must be afforded the decency to claim that he has resigned. What Mark Wignall is just saying here, this is just a fancy fair thing. Them just dress it up to make it look otherwise. But in effect, it's a sacking. Summary dismissal, it would be called for those of us who are in the private sector employment, or even in the public sector employment at the bureaucrat, technocrat, and operational field area. It would be a summary dismissal. But he's given the chance to boast about it. I have resigned. And we know the tendency is not a thing that and we know decency is not a thing that Mr. Warmington has spent much time embracing. So in short, Mark Wignall is saying, good riddance, a long time you should have gone. You never serve too much of a purpose over there. Anthony, are you come? They call you out from morning. Wagwan. A little more pressful. Morning. Welcome. Hero Bottom. How are you? Morning all and welcome. We are at our 11K subscriber, Lady J Love. Marvery Lloyd, good morning and welcome. Thanks to all those who have come on board. 1,000 of you have come on board in the last week. Thank you all for your support. Amazing Grace, how are you? Thank you all for your continuous support. We're also asking you to like and share the platform, please. That will also help the platform to grow faster, and also you did that beach. Also, it sends the signal in the algorithm and help us to grow further. So continue to like and share the live, please. Let me see how much I want to like it before we start quarreling. No, man. Quarreling for Guania, so. There's almost 300 of you on the live, and only 81 of you have hit the like button. Support the channel by hitting the like button, please. Before I go to the Dennis Meadows slot of his reading, I'll just show you, if you're not aware, how to like the stream. I'll pull up my graphics to give you the instruction on how to do the like system on the stream. Bear with me a second, please. Right, here you are. The graphics on your right, the X in the circle, the X in the yellow circle, if you hit that X, it will take you down to the graphics on your left. And where you see that thumbs up below the image, if you just hit that thumb, then it would register your like, and then you just hit the link below where it says chat publicly, and it takes you right back into the chat. Jason Kane, Bros, and Navlet Blake, morning, and welcome. So give us some like and some shares, please, so more people can know what we are discussing over here. But yes, back to this article, and he's turning his attention, Raymond, to Dennis Meadows. The Dennis Meadows, which is becoming a more festering problem, a more festering bacteria, Mr. Meadows. Mr. Meadows destroy his political future. Not the Jamaica Labour Party, Mark Wignall is saying. Only Dennis Meadows think that there's somebody out to get him, rather than he, Mr. Meadows, with his silly utterances, destroy his political career. Again, the Headley brew of political campaigning, most likely in a state of deep relishing the impressive number coming in for the PMP from the EOJ. Mr. Meadows jumped off into the deep end of the political lake. On a political campaign and in People's National Party colors, the highly educated and probably intelligent politician spouted off and made the most seen and dangerous, stupid statement he could ever make. He said he knew choppers, that is, lottery scammers. And horror of horror, he was basically endorsing the illicit, illegal, and dangerous activity. He told the choppers who were listening that the white man had extracted much from Black Africans who were abducted in the transatlantic slavery. In the transatlantic slave, I don't use that word, the trade, the transatlantic slave, I don't use the word trade. In the transatlantic enslavement, Mr. Wignall, the transatlantic enslavement, not trade, Mr. Wignall, we will not accept that. I, for one, Mr. Wignall, will not accept the word trade. The transatlantic enslavement. It's quite different to when you say trade, because trade comes under a contractual agreement. Mr. Wignall. Enslavement, Mr. Wignall, is by force. So no, we will not accept the word trade. We will accept the transatlantic enslavement, and it stopped right there. Not trade. We didn't agree to this bullshit. So don't enforce it upon us. on our generations. Transatlantic enslavement, Mr. Wignall. So we're not right. Get it right. I will make it there. Hold on, let me find out. Okay, this he stated that in chopping, somehow the Jamaicans were justified in seeking and securing payback, and seemingly in their as their mentor, he was advising them to spend the filthy lucre wisely. Lucre, filthy on ill-gotten gain, or filthy illicit enrichment. At the most granular, lottery scamming involve the generating of document called lead lists. One lead list may have, say, 20,000 names and contact numbers of Americans, most of whom are quite aged and socially vulnerable people sitting on nest egg of considerable sum. So that lead list, for those of you who do not understand, is that list that the scammers would buy from whoever. And that list gives them a lot of information, your details, your contact number, addresses, and all those sorts. And those people come under targeting, and a lot of the time, a lot of money is extracted out of these, majority of the time, pensioners. So, when Dennis Meadows speak, Dennis Meadows don't know say the American embassy listen to everything what we say. All if a bullshit, they want to know what we are talking about. The lists are created abroad, and the local scammers have to purchase these lists. That is where the real scamming starts. If the local boys hit, say, 5% of those on the list, and each extract 20,000 US to 50,000 US, the amount of money made is embarrassingly enough. Where a pile of money is, many are there who want it, and so the guns are attached to the choppers, especially when other choppers want the list. Not just that, though, also things like kidnapping, murders, rape, and all of them other activity. A lot of them go buy car when a license not insure and go do the dangerous driving pan road. And a lot of these young people get killed in those manner. Choppers usually contribute to the political campaign of selected politicians. The chopper need the politician to cover if rogue element like corrupt cop and other choppers are putting them under pressure. Hence, you see such a crafted advice from the lead chopper, Dennis Meadows, who doesn't only give them advice in private, but see it fit, powerful, and financially boastful. So Mr. Meadows could make such utterance on a political campaign. Mr. Meadows has pressed the brake on his political career. It is finished, done, kaput, and in truth, I had high hopes for him, said Mr. Wignall. Move on, Mr. Meadows. He's saying kaput, zilch, nil point, over, done. Move on, Mr. Meadows. J. Noel Williams, good morning, and welcome. Ekram Sound System, good morning. John Steph, good morning, and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. So there you have it. We have rambled through those two news articles, and we dealt with the Dean Weston, good morning. JD, good morning. We dealt with the question to Mark Golden with regards to Dennis Meadows sound like a bad man or me in control statement. So it is for Mr. Golden. It is for Mr. Golden to make it clear what Mr. Meadows' position is. Because Mr. Meadows is saying that he is still in charge in the North.
Yes. I remain the chairman of this constituency. I want each of you to be an evangelist to take this out. What I'm about to say.
I will preach it.
I just left the leader's office at a meeting this morning with Comrade Leader. And he explained to me why he acted. He didn't have to explain to me because I am a student of politics and we all are. Yes. Don't it?
Yes.
And therefore understand that when certain things go wrong,
yes, one
has to be held accountable in the interest of the party, Jamaica, and the greater good. And that greater good, I'm talking about the principles of what is right and what is wrong. What I said, although it was a section of a greater speech,
yes,
but that little snippet alone right? As I said to the leader, he asked me if I had a little drinks before. And I said yes. And I did have a few drinks of vodka before.
I know.
So in making a point about scammers must scam the government, who is scamming them? The choppers. I went too far in making that point.
Yes.
And one thing you learn as adults, when you do something wrong, you hold yourself accountable.
Yes, sir.
And I accept full responsibility for those words that came out of my mouth.
Yes, sir.
I was trying to send a message to the choppers and say, don't allow choppers to chop on it.
Yes.
Right? Don't allow the government to exploit you.
Sure.
Because I saw a check. I saw a check for remember that's how the discussion started?
Yes, yes.
A $400 check came to me that Friday.
Yes.
Right? In a person's name.
Yes.
And the person came to me to change it.
Yes.
And he told me that 25,000 of that check is his.
Yes, yes.
And the rest must go back to the JLP campaign in the North Shimon. And there were many checks like that. 1.5, 500, you know what?
Sure.
Right? We were operating a campaign that was washed with cash.
It's true.
Corruptly spent to induce vote from the very same choppers. And therefore I took a decision to address that issue. But I went awry. I said some things that should not be said. More so out of my mouth.
Right, right.
And we must take full responsibility.
Yes.
I told the leader that I understood his position, and in fact I commend him for moving with alacrity to hold me accountable. Although I said to him I'd rather have an opportunity to resign, and I was prepared to resign if asked. But he said he wanted us to move quickly, and therefore I slept late, and they were trying to reach me, and therefore he had was to move. And I commend him. I want to suggest that the People's National Party is a party of integrity and principles.
Right.
If I had said the same thing on the other side where I'm coming from, I would have gotten away with it. You hear me? So, Comrade Leader acted the right way.
Right.
I'm disappointed, but I'm not bitter.
Yes.
I remain the chairman of this constituency.
Wow.
I remain on the ground. And who knows? Who knows what come out of that? I say no more of that. But I'm going nowhere. So any Labourite who thinks that
Which makes me confused. I am still the chairman. And you know what comes out of that. Me confused. Mr. Golden is under duty to make clear this mess that Dennis Meadows is drawing the People's National Party in. Will Dennis Meadows be drafted in halfway down the road, Mr. Golden, like we see Andrew Holness did with Floyd Green? If that is the intention, Mr. Golden, I can tell you from now, that is something, Bueller, good morning. That will not go down well. Delpha Campbell, good morning. Beat and Teach come yet? That is something, Mr. Golden. Beat and Teacher there? That is something, Mr. Golden, that will not go down well. So, if Mr. Meadows is using finances or badmanism to strong arm the Jamaica Labour Party, to strong arm the People's National Party, rather, in northern Jamaica, you need to clear that up before you go to the polls, Mr. Golden. Dennis Meadows is becoming a festering wound, Yvonne Green. Dennis Meadows is becoming a festering wound to the momentum that the People's National Party came out of the general election with. A straight and precise argument, Mr. Golden, must be made in relation to this issue. Otherwise, you're risking dampening your momentum, Mr. Golden. And also, please remember that we are still on the lookout for the Minister of Information, minus one division, plus 2 lawsuits. This is where your At a Glance program ends this afternoon, this morning. If you are on the Eastern Standard Time, good afternoon, good morning from Global Television. And if you're on the Greenwich Main Time, good afternoon from London. Thank you very much. We will definitely see you back here. We will definitely see you back here this evening for our evening program. Thank you very much. Thanks for your support. And once again, thanks very much to all of my new subscribers who have come on board. 1,000 odd of you have come on board in the last week. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much to my entire platform for their support. Thanks to my moderators for their continuous support in administering and regulating my comment area. Thank you all very much, and we'll definitely see you this afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon from Global Television.